Storm Prediction Center in the U.S. has activated the highest level of storm. We have a high region for the Ohio Valley and the Tennessee Valleys, bringing 70 million people under a storm threat from Texas to Canada, and that translates in through southern Ontario. We've got a region of severe possible from Windsor up towards London, encompassing Essex County, Leamington for a heavy downpour, strong wind gusts, small hail is possible, and a slight chance at tornadic activity as well. So let's play this through. When we get through the afternoon hours, we saw some snow and freezing rain go through the GTA. It's going to linger for a couple more hours. Then we get warmer air coming from the south. Still a lot of instability with the system, so we could see more thunderstorms rolling through in the evening hours, and then again in the overnight hours where we have a chance of seeing some bright lightning, some rollers of thunder from Windsor stretching all the way up through central Ontario. Here's a look at that lightning. It's going to be very bright through central Ontario as we go through the overnight hours. There it is right there, 9 p.m. after sunset, where we'll see lots of lightning. If you don't sleep well with noise, you might want to wear some earplugs this evening. It's going to be extremely gusty this afternoon throughout the evening. Overnight, still continuing extreme wind gusts on the north end of the lake coasts, and that will continue throughout Thursday and eventually easing through Friday. Now, in terms of all of Ontario, seeing the chance at snow throughout central and northern portions of the province. Thunder Bay getting hit with the heaviest amount of snowfall throughout the next couple days. Quite a swath of freezing precipitation as well. That will pass through the Ottawa Valley and in through southern Quebec eventually, but that could lead to a few millimeters of ice accretion on surfaces. Thunder Bay looking at the heaviest pocket of snow. We could see upwards of 30 centimeters in Thunder Bay. That swath headed towards Moosonee, reaching down to about 15 centimeters. Central Ontario about 5 to 10 for Sudbury and North Bay. In the south, we'll see a mere 5 to 10 centimeters for the most part, and about 3 centimeters across the GTA and Golden Horseshoe throughout Wednesday. And here's a look at that freezing rain. Nothing compared to what we saw last weekend, but we could see another 5 millimeters north of Bancroft, as well as the Dundalk Highlands there north of the GTA. Could be picking up another 5 millimeters, but again, nothing compared to what we saw over the weekend, which was 30 plus hours of ice duration. Now we could see upwards of 2 to 8 hours, but only about 2 to 5 millimeters. Now the rain is going to be an issue here for river levels as well, as flooding is an issue with 20 to 40 millimeters for the Golden Horseshoe and about 40 to 60 millimeters for the southern tip of Lake Huron.
Storm Center.
Welcome to your national forecast. Lots of weather alerts across Ontario and Quebec as a wintry spring storm approaches. Meteorologist Laura Power, meteorologist Amandeep Purewal. Aman, we've got a massive system rolling through Ontario today, bringing snow, freezing rain, and eventually thunderstorms throughout the region.
Yeah, we're looking at heavy rain, Laura, with this system, especially for southwestern Ontario, but also a risk for thunderstorms.
Yes, we have a late evening overnight thunderstorm risk, which we'll get into in a moment. But first, look, heavy snowfall up in northwestern Ontario, Thunder Bay, looking at some pretty daunting totals. The system eventually moves in through Quebec by Thursday morning and consequently in through Atlantic Canada. But first, a look at some of these snow totals.
Yeah, we're looking at a range between 20 to 30 centimeters. So we could be looking at snow rates between 2 to 3 centimeters an hour. So quite substantial here. But across the GTA, we're not looking at significant accumulation, ranging between 5 to 10 centimeters.
Yeah, likely more of a trace closer to the shorelines. The freezing rain, nothing compared to what we saw last weekend. About 5 millimeters for central Ontario and the high elevations across the Dundalk region, Orangeville, up towards Georgian Bay. But the rainfall could pose some issues with river levels, Aman.
Yeah, flooding concerns are quite a threat. This is like between 48 hours. We can see substantial rain. So 30 to 50 millimeters is quite a range. But as I mentioned, pockets of southwestern Ontario could see more than that.
Yeah, especially with this massive storm. We have 70 million people from Texas to Canada under a storm threat. Now, this is what the Storm Prediction Center in the States has put out and translates into our storm forecast. We have a severe possible region for extreme southwestern Ontario for strong wind gusts, heavy downpours, localized flooding and issues, small hail, and a slight chance at some tornadic activity. But as we go through the afternoon, Aman, we'll start to see those shape up.
Yeah, as you mentioned, even with those winds, we could be ranging between 50 to 70 kilometers an hour through the day today, even into Thursday as well, with these heavy downpours. So
yeah, we'll see those nocturnal threat, rather. You're going to see a bit of bright lights tonight if you're in certain regions across southern Ontario. Take a look at this. Central Ontario in particular, east of Georgian Bay, very bright night tonight. If you're light sensitive, you might want to close those blinds or put in some earplugs for the thunder. But following that, we'll see a little bit of energy surge in, but it is very conditional. It's based on the stability of the atmosphere, so might not see as much as you know, as you just saw on the graphic, but just keep in mind it is a possibility. And as Alman alluded to, the winds.
Yeah, not only the winds, as you mentioned, Laura, but this system is also going to be spilling over Quebec, even into Atlantic Canada as well, bringing in a whole wintry mix across the Maritimes as we go through Thursday morning. Before switching over to ice pellets, freezing rain, we're looking at between 2 to 5 millimeters in terms of ice accretion, and then rain as we head into the evening and into the overnight.
Yeah, for sure. And then we also have snow. Everything under the kitchen sink is coming to Atlantic Canada as well, about 10 to 15 centimeters for the southern Avalon as well as the southwestern coast of Newfoundland, and then about 10 to 15 across portions of New Brunswick as well, which they have already seen a bit of snow this week.
Yeah, exactly. And those temperatures will be warming up quite a bit as we look into Ontario, potentially 20 degrees in Toronto, but I wouldn't get used to these temperatures because cool down is potentially on its way even into next week, but even across Atlantic Canada, quite cool. Laura.
Yeah, below seasonal for sure, but as we head out west, we do have some snow lingering throughout the prairies, and then snow will be upsloping through the Rockies as well.
Yeah, we're looking at between 15 to potentially 25 centimeters of snow across the foothills, but nonetheless, this high pressure will really calm conditions down and also warm up temperatures as well.
Yeah, it'll settle the conditions after we get through some of the snow. We have got upsloping snow thanks to the Arctic air outbreak that's going to be surging southward through the province, which is leading to upwards of 15 to 25 centimeters in the southern foothills, 10 to 15 if you're headed up the Trans-Canada towards Banff and Jasper. And then BC headed into a dry spell. We're seeing an extended period, a few days worth of plenty of sunshine. Let's get out and enjoy some straggler showers today, but otherwise it's going to shape up to be an absolutely beautiful weekend.
Storm